Hey guys, how's everybody doing? I want to do a quick follow-up video on this injury I had. Now back in June of 2025, I took a really bad spill mountain biking, and I did what they call a terrible triad. Shattered my radial head, I broke my ulna, and I tore all the ligaments out of my elbow, and it required a complete replacement of my radial head. So they put a steel rod with a ball in there. You saw it on the thumbnail anyway. Ligament repair and all of that. And I had also, where the humerus cups up around the joint, I had snapped that off as well. Can't remember if we had to do some kind of a repair on that. But anyway, that was back in June of 2025. We're now 6 months past that. At the making of this video, it's pretty close to Christmas time. I'm wanting to, for people who have had this injury, I just want to give my experience on what the recovery has been like thus far. Now, if you want to check out my earlier video on this, I'll put a link in the description below. I was still in the sling and everything at that time, and it was just a few weeks after my surgery, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, I want to kind of go catch up with you guys on what the recovery's been like, therapy and things like that, because this injury is probably one of the most severe injuries that you can go through, with the exception of a brain injury or something like that. Not in the sense that it's life-threatening, but in the sense that the recovery is so horrible. It's an awful recovery. Now, if any of you have experienced this, or you've just had this, and you're just had the surgery or whatever, I don't want this video to be I don't want you to take this as a baseline of what your recovery is going to be like, okay? Because as you do research and join groups and things like that, and the more you look at this, the more different everybody's walk through this is. Everybody recovers different. Some people bounce back in a matter of weeks, and it's just like they had never did. And others go for months. Me, it's probably going to be more like a year and a half recovery. It's just a long recovery, especially for the terrible triad. So if any of y'all have went through that, I can definitely sympathize. But anyway, the first, I want to say 3 or 4 weeks, I was in a sling, wrapped up and everything. On week, I want to say 4, they took the sling, they took the bandage off and everything. They undid my staples, and they put me in this thing. Now, you'll probably have to deal with something like this. I just call it the RoboCop arm, whatever, and it just helps to stabilize the joint while you're still able to get a little bit of motion. Now, when I was first outfitted with this, I could only do like this right here. That was about all the movement that I could do. Most irritating thing about this is that my arm would swell up during the course of the day, and right where this pad is, the incision was right there. When my arm would swell, it would press the incision up against that pad, and it was painful. It hurt. So it was one of those things where it's like, look, the injury alone is painful enough, and when you got this incision pressing up against the pad because of swelling and everything, it made it a lot worse. So I wore this for, I want to say another 4 weeks. So I was going on 8 weeks, and I was 4 weeks in a sling bandage, and then 4 weeks I was in this. After that, they took me out of this full time and started my physical therapy. Now, I have been doing physical therapy now from then to this point. Now, I am 6 months actually 6 months post surgery date. So that's where I'm at right now. And I just want to let you guys know where I'm at 6 months out. Now, this injury is very discouraging, okay? It's very discouraging, especially with me, the range of motion. I just can't seem to get the range of motion. Other people can get the range of motion and they can't seem to get their strength back. Other people can not get the range of motion, they can get their strength back. Now, I've been kind of in the other category where I've been able to get some of my strength back. See, like, you probably can't see this, but this is 40 pounds. Now, I'm able to hold this, but as you can see, my arm still looks like a dog leg. And I've gained weight because I'm not as active as I used to be. Before the injury, I was a gym rat, mountain biked, all kind of stuff. I was in the best shape of my life, had this injury, and it has been a struggle for real. But anyway, so I can carry some weight with it. Part of the problem is I also tweaked my shoulder a little bit. So again, I can only do about right there with my shoulder. And you probably notice a difference in my left arm as opposed to my right arm. The atrophy is still there. Range of motion, of course, very, very limited. See, this is my good arm. So good arm, you know. This arm, about 20 degrees. And I think I can squeeze out about just past 100 degrees flexing. And that's about it. So that's where I'm at 6 months post-operation. I'm not saying that will be where you're at 6 months from your operation, but that is where I'm at, okay? And that is with stretching daily, physical therapy, going to the gym, like I'm putting my work into it, okay? And I want to just encourage you guys to press through the pain, okay? Get your physical therapy in, get your activity in, get your stretches in, use your arm as much as you can, especially once you get, whether it be the sling or the RoboCop arm, and you get that off of there, and the doctor tells you, start working your arm, start working your arm. Do not sit on your arm. Don't do any of that. Use it, use it, use it. Okay, so it's like extension, flex, over my head. It's about where it's at. I'll step back here so you can get a better look. Okay, pronation and subluxation. I'll just use this. Okay, my pronation. Let me get this right. Pronation. My pronation and subluxation is probably doing pretty good considering. That's my injured arm. Okay, this is my good arm. Okay, like it can do that. Injured arm, not so much, but it's not so bad. Subluxation, okay, on my good arm, subluxation, pretty much level. Bad arm, subluxation is still, see, it's got that little bit of an angle, which I think some of that may have to do with my extension. I can kind of, but see, it's not awful, but again, it's very, very stiff and it hurts. The pain has probably been the biggest issue because I don't like taking pain meds. I don't. They're just bad for you. Even ibuprofen is bad for your liver. It's bad for your stomach. I try to get through it, and there's times where I just have to take something. There has been times where I've just broke down and cried because the pain, like, it gets in your head because you go to bed in pain. You try to sleep through the night in pain. You wake up in the morning in pain. You go through the day in pain. At the evening, you're in pain. So if you can imagine that 24/7, like 6 months of being in pain, yes, the pain level is probably not as bad as it used to be. I know that when I injured myself, I was in the hospital and my body went into shock because of the extreme pain that I was going through at that time. I was begging them. They gave me morphine, and it did absolutely nothing for me, okay? And I was begging them, give me something. They finally gave me 2 more shots, and I don't remember what it was, but all I know is it made me high as hell, and it's the only reason I wasn't in agony. Let's see, I guess other things I can remember is, I don't know if your surgeon will be anything like mine, but my surgeon, bless him, okay, he apparently, I guess he's good at what he does, but he is an ass, okay? My surgeon was just a jerk. His bedside manners suck. So as I'm going to these follow-ups with him, you know, and my range of motion is just not getting there. He's getting aggravated at me because my range of motion just isn't there. And I tell him, I said, well, what causes this difficulty in the range of motion? He looked me right square in the eye and said, lack of effort. Lack of effort. Okay. Lack of effort. Okay, you know, it's like, I know I'm doing therapy twice a week. I'm stretching at home. I'm trying to go to the gym. I'm trying to work this thing as much as I can. And then when you get the frustration of this, then you got a guy that your surgeon is saying, oh, it's because of lack of effort. You just suck. You're just not doing it right. Oh, okay, doc. You know, so that's, I in my head, I'm punching him in his face, right, and walking out the door. Screw you. You know, I'm done. But that's just something you may have to put up with. I don't know. So I think, let's see, what else? I went through the strength, range of motion. Pain level is not as, like I said, the pain level 6 months out is not as intense, but it is still an ongoing, just dull. Some days are worse than others. I've noticed, you know, it's getting winter. It's been cold, the cold, rainy days, okay? I can tell. I don't like the way I look in the mirror, okay? I don't like the way I've got muscle on one arm and not the other one. I don't like that. Like I said, I've always taken really good care of myself, you know, working out, activity and stuff like that, and it's like all that's been taken away from me because of this. And it does mentally, and not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, it's very, very difficult. But I guess if I could encourage you with anything, is just stick with it, okay? If you've just had the surgery, okay, you do have better days ahead. Okay, it's just going to take a long, long time. What I want to do is, in the description below, I'm also going to put a link for a Facebook group. And there's people on there that have had the same injury. I guess it's one reason I wanted to do these couple of videos, is because even on YouTube, there's just not a lot of information on this particular injury. There's a couple of some footage of the surgeries itself and stuff like that, but as far as real life experience of somebody that has went through this, there's just not a lot out there. So but I sorry there was such a big gap in between my first video and this one. I've just been a very busy guy. I work more than full time, plus a business on the side, and plus dealing with this, it just has not been a walk in the park. But anyway, so yeah, in the description below, link to the first video about this, and also a link to a support group on Facebook for anybody. I know I'm on there. There's a lot of good information on there. And all I can just, I guess if I could leave you with anything, just encouragement, is work, 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 okay? Just let your pain level be your God. Get back in the gym, use your arm, stretch it every single day, do your therapy, and just stick with it. But anyway, tell me what your experience has been with it. How far are you past or post surgery, and how's your recovery going? I'd be interested to know. And with that said, I hope you guys have a good night. and I will touch base with you in a little bit. Thank you.